Hey, what's up guys? Coach Caglione here. This is another edition of our GAGS Goals Updates, my Road to 198 series. Today marks my first workout back in the deadlift suit, so I'm really excited. Deadlift has been kind of hit or miss the last couple of weeks just because if you guys watch some of the older videos, I did like a charity event where I did a really heavy trap bar deadlift, and it took a little bit of, I did a 650 pound, I guess 655 pound trap bar deadlift at ATS Strength for a charity event earlier last December, I guess earlier last year, so about a month ago. So that took a little bit out of me, and it took a little bit for my spine and stuff to kind of recover from that, but it was for a good cause, and it was early in the training cycle, so I'm not too concerned about it. So some of the deadlift workouts after that charity lift were not going as well. Definitely feeling a little stiff, definitely just a little under-recovered. I had a little bit too much fatigue built up. I didn't really take any time off or taper for that contest, so just a little bit of extra fatigue that I didn't really account for. But over the last couple of weeks, things have been feeling a little bit better. I've been keeping up with my corrective exercises that I've been kind of doing from Dr. Albury, and my friend Ashley Cass has been helping as well. And things have been moving a lot better. My hips have been feeling really good. Today, especially, sometimes you kind of know when you're warming up. I just kind of knew I was going to have a good day. My positions felt really good from the start. I was kind of joking with Elvis that 225 felt like 225. So after I pulled two plates, I kind of just knew it kind of came up like, you know, like an empty bar. Like obviously it's light, but you know, as you get more experience, there's certain times, you know, if certain weights feel a certain way, you kind of know that you're kind of in for a good day. And I kind of knew even at two plates that it was going to be a good day. I felt really good. Kind of been back on my diet, so it's kind of vertical-ish. Having meat and rice around my training time, and then having a lot of micronutrients and fruits and veggies, and lots of sodium around the workout time as well, and keeping hydrated. So diet's been going good, even though it's only been a couple of days, but I'm kind of back on the bandwagon along with all our New Year's resolutioners. This was, again, first major workout of 2019, and it was off to a great start. Today I elected to, one of the reasons, if you watch the footage from my meet in November, my Road to 220 series, I elected to use a canvas suit for my equip meet. And typically the canvas suit's a little bit, it's traditionally used more for squatting. It can be used for deadlifting as well, but there's a lot of stopping power. It's very stiff. It's not really flexible. The tagline for the old Leviathan suits were literally, it's the suit that stands on its own. And so that canvas suit, the metal, and I use the metal canvas suit for this past meet. I like it because it's adjustable. That took up a lot of room in my suitcase, so I didn't really have room so I elected to kind of only use one shoe. I elected to use a squat suit and the same squat suit and deadlift suit for the meet. So it was kind of just a little bit of a trade-off just because I didn't want to pack so many different pieces of equipment and get too crazy. But in general, most people do a little bit better in a poly suit and something a little bit like more forgiving, because if the straps are too tight or the suit is too stiff, it's going to be really hard to get in position, especially for a sumo deadlift where the lift's more technical. So I want to give this poly suit a try. I think I tried this suit around my birthday of 2018, and I was probably like a good 15-ish pounds heavier, maybe more. Around my birthday, and it was a little bit tight then. It fit me really good today. If anything, as I lose weight, I'll probably have to wear a brief under it, but I just wore the suit itself. I wore a fairly loose belt today. Straps were like moderately tight. We could probably get a little bit more out of the straps, but things went really good. 405 flew up, 495 flew up, and in general, if 500 is strong, that's a really good indicator. If 500 moves really well for me, then I know that I'm basically back over that 600 pound range, which is great. And if you've been, again, watching some of my training, a lot of times, if I could pull around 600 in training, I'm usually good from anywhere from 640 to 650 for the meet. So I usually get a good carryover. I usually peak really well, knock on wood, barring any kind of injuries or extenuating circumstances. So I worked up to, I did 495, 545, 545 went smooth, and then I ended up doing 585. My coordination of my lockout could have been a little bit better, but considering I haven't gone past, I haven't done more than 455 on a straight bar since the meet. So for me to hit a comfortable 585, and I still have many, many months to go, I'm really happy about that. One of my goals for this year is to hit a triple bodyweight deadlift. My best deadlift ever in a meet all time is 660. My best all-time deadlift in the gym is 700. So I feel like I'd like to hit 660 again. Weighing 220 or less. So I'm right. I feel like I'm right on target, and obviously I have a lot more room to grow and get better. And like I said, it's still very early in the training cycle, so I have a lot of time to build and refine my technique even more. I noticed in the poly suit as well that I was able to be a little bit more upright and just have a better starting position. So I'm really excited as I refine my setup a little bit more and I can set up a little bit quicker. I should be able to get a little bit more power off the ground and then transition that to a strong lockout and finish. So yeah, I'm pretty happy as you can see. Things went well. I don't know if it was the Chuck V, the Flame Beanie that helped me get through the sets, but regardless of that, happy with how the deadlift workout went. Also wanted to do a little bit of conventional work. If you have watched any of our other YouTube videos, I'm a big fan of conventional deadlifting to help build up the sumo. So one of the things I still want to make sure my raw strength is is still building up. I want to make sure my back strength is still improving. Originally my plan was to just do a little bit more than last week. Last week I did 455 for a set of 8. So I was going to do around 475 this week. But since things felt really good, I said, why not just do 495 for 8? And I also saw my buddy Chris Bell is back up to pulling 500 again on the straight bar, which is awesome to Chris. So I know we'll probably be bumping into each other at the Super Training Classic. That'll be coming up next month. So I'm excited to see him there and catch up with him and the rest of the Bell family. I kind of saw him that he's kind of back at it and he's training hard. We're kind of going through a similar weight loss journey around the same time. I just felt a little bit more motivated to kind of get back to that 5 plate range for some reps raw. So I did 495 for 8. My back position could have been a little bit better, but that being said, it's the most I've done this cycle. Getting back up to 495 for a set of 8 is great. That ties my record of what I did last cycle, and I felt like the 495 was very comfortable. I felt like I could have done maybe 10 or 12 if I really pushed. But my target was 8, so I was happy that I was able to hit 495 for 8 with some in the tank. And like I said, that's the most I've done conventional since the meet. I'm very happy about that. All things are kind of going according to plan. With the squat workout, I did my last equipped squat workout. I talked about using the Squat Buddy. And like I said, for the squat specifically, I think this is a great tool for an equipped lifter to get some more kind of back off volume to kind of protect the hips and kind of mimic the positions you'll be in the suit, allow you to go a little bit wider without a consequence of kind of beating up your hips. If someone just wants to get generally strong in their hips and the posterior chain, it's a fine option. But if you're like a medium or narrow stance squatter, I'm not really convinced this can be a great option for you, but it's great for wide stance box squats. So if you're somebody who likes to box squat wide and you want a little protection for the hips, or you just happen to be a very wide stance squatter in general, I think the Squat Buddy might be a good option. It's kind of like a slingshot for the lower body. You get these on Spud Inc., so you can check those out. I think this probably, as we experiment more, we'll probably experiment with some different exercises that we can do with this as well. I'm not sure if maybe after you break them in, it might allow for maybe a little bit more of a medium or narrow stance squat, but as of right now, I find it's only really main purpose would be for wide stance squatting, and I particularly like them in combination with the box. So whether you could use this to warm up into your gear, or use it for back off volume for an equipped lifter, or if you just want to get your hips generally strong with a wide stance box squat. I also found this particularly useful to just do I wanted to do some kind of experiment. I did some back off volume, just at 315 for a couple of sets of 5. I used the Squat Buddy for that. For the sumo deadlift, I did these beltless, and I found that it just allowed for a really comfortable start. It kind of cued me to kind of push the material open a little bit, so it's going to kind of cue you to force the material open not only in a squat but in a sumo deadlift as well. And it also kind of, in a weird way, kind of aided the lockout, kind of pushed your butt forward toward the top. So I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but it felt good. And if your hips tend to get beat up while sumo deadlifting, I think this could be a great tool for overload, or also just to get some extra back off volume if you're doing a high volume deadlift workout. I think this might be okay for a raw sumo deadlifter, but certainly an equipped sumo deadlifter, I think this would be a great tool just to get some back off volume for sure. Or if you have like a nagging hip injury or some sort of hip tightness, it could be a way to kind of warm up into your full suit as well. So I think it's a great tool if you're an equipped lifter, or if maybe you're just dealing with some hip pain and you're not, maybe if you're not a competitive raw power lifter. So I think definitely it's worth a look. I hope that they get more sizes, and I think that if they kind of took a page out of Mark Bell's book and also maybe had some sort of kind of reactive or less stiff material, I think that could be a great option for them as well, just so maybe a raw lifter can get a little bit more benefit, and they don't have to go as extremely wide to kind of use the material. From there, I just did, again, want to improve my back strength a little bit. I just did just one set. So since the intensity was very high this week, we kind of cut down the volume, as I did with the other lifts as well, for the lower body. So I just did a set of deficit deadlifts, and I did about 5 reps with like a normal conventional form where I'm kind of sitting my hips low and using my quads. And then I did another 5 reps or so stiff leg just to kind of work my back and hamstrings a little bit more. I just did 315 on those as well. So all in all, things are good. I'm really happy with how things are progressing. I'm going to be continuing to, right now, we kind of finished off like an off-season / kind of hypertrophy block. I still probably will do some sets of 8 this month because I do want to keep my muscle mass up. So if I was not concerned with maintaining muscle mass or kind of building muscle mass, I would probably be doing more sets of 5 this block, but so it'll probably still be in the 5 to 8 rep range, but I probably will sprinkle in some triples and some heavier sets of 5 because we're getting closer to the competition now, and I will start to add in the gear a little bit more frequently. So I will have a couple more equip sessions this month. I might do an extra bench shirted session here or there, just because I still got to figure out like which bench shirt's going to fit me the best at this body weight. So the bench shirt's still a question mark, but I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be using the metal canvas suit in combination with my briefs, and as well as I'll be probably using the metal Jack Sumo deadlift suit that's more of like it's a more flexible suit. And then so the bench shirt is still a little bit of a question mark, but I have 3 different options for that. I have a single ply, and then I have 2 multi-ply shirts. So we'll see which ends up being the best fit. I'm also considering maybe having a shirt that's looser for my opener that I can kind of just get on the board, and then I can kind of be a little bit more aggressive with some tighter shirts on my second and third attempt. So there's some different options. I hope this, especially for the equipped lifters out there, I know there's not as much content for the equipped lifters, so that's one of the other reasons why I want to share my training, to give them some ideas and kind of show them some feedback as well. I definitely plan on getting a little bit of extra advice from some other lifters, like my buddy Chris Delafave out of New Jersey. He's one of the top lifters of all time at 242 and 275. I think he's got 25 and 2,600 pound totals to his name, 1,000 pound squatter, 800 plus deadlifter. So I'm going to be kind of learning a little bit. Even though I'm 13 years in to powerlifting and coaching, I still can get better. I can still learn from others, and we help each other out. So definitely thank you guys for watching again along my weight loss journey and my strength journey. I really appreciate you guys following along. If you guys like the videos, please subscribe for future content. Check out the links below. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.